everybody, I am Susan Stripling. I'm a wedding and portrait photographer from Brooklyn, New York. I'm also a Canon Explorer of Light, and we are here today in Manhattan with our friends from B&H to talk about the Trinity of 2.8 RF lenses. As a wedding photographer, I'm often asked if I could only bring a couple of lenses to a wedding with me, what would they be? And in the past, it was always the EF Trinity. And by Trinity, I mean the 16-35 2.8, the 24-70 2.8, and the 70-200 2.8. But now with the RF lenses, we're about to have a Trinity of our own. And what does that mean? First, there's the 15-35 2.8, and that's right, 15-35, not 16-35. And then there will be a 24-70 2.8. And that 15-35 and 24-70 are available now. Coming later this year, we'll also get that last piece of the Trinity, which is the 70-200 f2.8. So a few things that I am super excited about with this Trinity of lenses. The first thing is the up to 5 stops of optical image stabilization, which is super important as a wedding photographer. That coupled with the new firmware that gives us an even better eye detection AF, it's going to be an unbeatable combo on wedding days. But enough talking about it. Let's give these lenses a try in the real world and see what we've got. That's beautiful. So weddings are crazy and unpredictable. I find myself with fast-moving subjects, dark scenarios, needing to handhold at slow shutter speeds, and all other kind of crazy situations. Having 5 stops of optical image stabilization in this Trinity of RF lenses means that I can be creative in a completely new way. So the 16-35 is a lens that photographers use a lot for wide-angle outdoor shots, reception spaces, dancing, large ceremony spaces. Really gives you a sense of time and place. This new RF lens, the 15-35, you wouldn't think 1 extra millimeter would make a huge difference, but it really does. Especially in a situation like this where I'm trying to show my client with the city around her and the sky, that extra millimeter just gives us a little bit more city and helps me tell a better story. Soft arms, and you can keep moving them exactly. So you can have the most beautiful subject in the most beautiful light in the most beautiful city in the world, but if your pictures aren't in focus, you don't have deliverable images for your clients. The nano USM in these lenses is incredibly, incredibly important because you have fast and accurate focus for photos, and if you're video, you have smooth and quiet, all of which are super important as a wedding photographer. A couple of other things to note that are important to me as a wedding photographer with these lenses, one of which is the control ring. You have the option to set it to control things such as your shutter speed or your aperture or exposure compensation, which makes it even easier for me to nail perfect exposure under fast-moving conditions. Another thing is the fact that these lenses are dust and weather resistant. I often find myself in crazy scenarios, dusty buildings, rainy days, and I know that I'm going to be fine because my lenses can take it. Coming soon, there's also going to be a major firmware upgrade that's going to improve the already excellent eye detection AF. As a wedding photographer, I often have very fast-moving subjects in very time-sensitive situations, and when I'm photographing them at 1.4 or 1.2, as I am here with the 85-1.2, it's really difficult to lock focus quickly on crucial things like eyeballs. With the new firmware upgrade, it's going to be even easier and even more responsive, especially if your subjects are moving, even if they are small in the frame. So I've talked to you about the 15-35 and I've talked to you about the 24-70, but we're still missing one crucial piece of the Trinity, which is the 70-200 2.8. This lens will be coming later this year, and I am incredibly excited about it because it is one of my favorite focal length ranges. And once I have my hands on that lens, These three together will be an unbeatable kit for any wedding photographer. Thanks for watching. I'm Susan Stripling, and I hope you all enjoy these lenses as much as I know I will.